grind. The daily grind and the daily grind. Welcome to the daily grind. We can sing Christmas music now, right? Right?
Yeah, it's officially Christmas season now.
Thank you. Okay, welcome to the daily grind. I am your host, Luke Hatmaker. It is Black Friday, although I swear Black Friday's been happening all week. It's deeply confusing. But I got my guy Rusty with me. How are you, brother? Welcome on this Black Friday episode.
Yeah, I'm good, man. You know, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. We had a great time celebrating the last couple of days. Speaking of Black Friday, I was talking to my mama last night, and it's just one of those things like used to growing up. Like I remember her and my grandmother and my aunts like all planning out like where they were going to go the next day. And meanwhile, my dad, my brother and I were getting our camo together because we were going to go hunting. Like we had two very different reasons to be getting up at an ungodly hour. But you know, with now Black Friday deals kind of throughout the week and Cyber Monday, it's kind of lost some of the luster that used to come with Black Friday.
Man, that's so funny because I can't think of another. Well, back when we were growing up, another reason for men to get up that early when the women were getting.
Yeah, it's wild. Normally, like my dad would come in there, he'd wake me and my brother up, be like, all right, we got to be quiet. We tiptoe through the house and sneak out, go get in the truck and go to the woods, right? Well, mama's up making breakfast. And like, it's one of the only times I'll wake up in the morning to go hunting and like, I smell biscuits. Like, let's go.
I smell biscuits. Man, you know what? I really hope that the Grizzlies are smelling biscuits tonight after the game because the Grizzlies will be playing the Pelicans, more like the Pelicans. Yeah, we got to get our shout out Art. Shout out to everybody joining us in the comments on this Black Friday. Hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. We are winless in the NBA Cup ever. I mean, it's just 2 years, but
still, it's 2 years too long, man. That's wild that we have not got to win. We're on a list with some not so illustrious teams, and we're better than that. Like, we need that cup win, and I don't know what it is about cup games that cause us to shut down, but it's looking like, Luke, we might have Ja back tonight for this game, and he is the official mayor of New Orleans because he owns that franchise. We might need him tonight to get that cup win.
I mean, I completely it's not that I completely agree just based on a talent level. So the injury report really fast. The Pelicans are down officially. It looks like Jose Alvarado, Herb Jones, Zion, and Carlo Matovic. I don't know. One of their two-way guys is out for the game tonight, along with Jordan Hawkins, Brandon Ingram, Trey Murphy, and Jamal Cain are all questionable. I don't know how they are. You know, like if it's the Grizzlies, a questionable designation typically means you're playing. I don't think the Pelicans are like that. Regardless, I'm tired of hearing all these Pelicans players, fans, everybody being like, "Whoa, is this? Our team is injured. This ain't nothing compared to what we were doing last year." I'm like really over it. I keep all these people that are like so many starting lineups so far. I'm just like, shut up.
Yeah, you don't know nothing, sir. I'm kind of glad that like Alvarado may not play tonight because that dude is just really pesky. A lot of folks are trying to trade for Brandon Ingram, which I am not one of. Glad he's not. Listen, like beggars cannot be choosers at this point. You know, we need to be smart. We need to go out and win. And there's a little foreshadowing there. We need to be smart, go out and win this basketball game and finally get that cup win underneath us against a team that was much like us last year, Luke, who's just kind of cobbling a team together with whatever players they can find walking around the gym.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting too because I could be incorrect, but I believe the Grizzlies are out of the cup. I mean, I don't think that none of it matters. Like we will not advance in cup play this season. I think that's already been concluded unfortunately, but this win will still count as a win. And the Grizzlies are fourth in the West right now, and they're on a 4-game winning streak. And we've talked about it a lot. This team, good teams beat bad teams. It's so simple, but it's not when you're this team. And it's really not when you have guys like King Meeks, Grizz Killer CJ McCollum's playing. Like there's some dudes
CJ
on this in particular. Team. Yeah, there's some dudes on this team. And CJ in particular always scores 30 on us, it seems. I would put him on my all Grizz Killer team. He just always balls. He has for years. And so I'm worried about this game.
Agreed. It's one of those that feels sneaky. Like we're getting Ja back. Marcus had a massive game, right? We had a big win over a very gritty, scrappy Detroit team that's going to hit you in the mouth. And they did early, and Marcus got us back in it. CJ McCollum's playing. When I heard that, I got a little less excited. I believe Trey Murphy's going to play tonight. I heard that he is trending towards playing. So, like, they're getting a couple dudes back at the right time for New Orleans, not so much for Memphis. And what we need to do, Memphis, we're bad about kind of like resting on our success. Like, we've won 4 or 5 in a row at home. We've won 4 in a row overall. Like, we're starting to get some momentum. We don't need to lose that. I mean, that's it. Yep. And this is a team, if you start slow and CJ gets hot, he will bury this team. And we have seen over the years that, like, Memphis is really bad about digging a hole early and then checking out and just being like, all right, we're just going to coast through this thing and on to the next one. And we can't have that tonight. We need to get this cup win for morale and momentum's sake.
100%. Shout out Jedi Mind Tricking. I see you. It's new. That's one. Love the name. Safe driving back from Florida to Memphis. It's this. I mean, it's so strange as a Grizzlies fan to be not worried, but like I'm just so tentative going into every game because I'm like,
which team is going to show up?
Exactly, because we've got the horses. We have the horses. I just don't know which team is going to show up, and that's tough.
Let me ask you this, Luke. So we've had like several games in a row. We've had some unsung heroes, right? Santi with his rebound performance. You had Marcus last game just go absolutely just nuts. Who is it tonight? Who is the unsung hero tonight? You can't name Ja, you can't name Dez, can't name Jaren, because those are kind of the obvious ones. But who is going to be that player for us tonight that steps up and helps us get that win?
I wouldn't. So I'm going to pick. I wouldn't be surprised if Jay Huff has another like 19 to 20. I wouldn't be surprised if he has like a 20 plus point. I think we're going to have someone on the bench score at least 20, at least one person. And I would say between Jake and Jay, the two Jays.
I like that.
I just think that with the injuries that they have, they don't have a center. And I just could see like, who we get? I think I would put our bigs. Brandon Clark, Jay Huff, and Brandon Clark's been playing really well.
My two were going to be Brandon Clark is one that I see trending in a very positive direction. Like, we're getting old BC back, and the best part is he's not shooting threes anymore. He's got both feet in the paint. He's getting some dunks. He had that almost oop against the Pistons the other night, which was still awesome because it was vintage BC. But I also think the rookie, Jalen Wells, like, you got Marcus coming back, you got Des, some of these guys coming back. This feels like another game where Jalen can go on a heater. And, he scored 26, he scored 24. I wouldn't be surprised if the young rook got his first 30 piece tonight, where he just went out there and filled it up, matching CJ McCollum shot for shot. We keep waiting on that Desmond breakout game. Like, Des, and don't hear what I'm not saying. Like, Desmond is going to get back on his feet. Like, it's just a slump. Everybody goes through it, right? Yogi Berra, one of the best hitters of all time in baseball, said, when I get a slump, I change the bat because I know that I can hit. So it's not my fault. I got to change the bat. So Des just got to change something. But in that interim, I look for the young rook to go on the heater and show that he belongs in the starting lineup.
Yeah, I mean, dude, we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But the fact that they are still riding the Jalen Wells hot hand is really,
I love it.
I love it too, and it shows me the organizational growth, because I feel like in years past they would have, as soon as Marcus came back, they would have forced that start.
Listen, Lionel Hollins, I'm looking at you, brother. Like, there was a time in this franchise, Lionel wasn't playing a rookie be damned. Like, it didn't matter who it was. LeBron James could have walked through that door, and Lionel was like, "You gonna sit for your first year." Love the guy, but he was not playing a rookie.
Dude, Lionel Hollins was the man. He was just you could draft a rookie, and he'd be like, "Who?"
He would look Clown in the face and say, "Don't care, not playing."
Don't care. So we got. I do like this question. Any news on Zach Edey? Because he is still out for tonight's game. I don't remember seeing if it was a grade 1, 2, or 3. Do you remember?
Typically, from my experience, if it was a grade 3, they'd call it that. Anything less, they're not really just going to call it an ankle sprain and just kind of let it ride itself out. Because if they say a grade 1, then we're all going to be thinking, oh, he's going to be out 2 weeks. And if they say a grade 2, it kind of puts a time parameter on it. And knowing this Grizzlies medical staff, they don't like time parameters. They like to take their time with these things. I would imagine he has a grade 2. If he was in a grade 3 like Vince, he'd be in a boot. He'd be offloading at something. He hasn't been. Yeah, exactly. He's just had like a little air cast on, like that you typically get when you get a 1 or 2. And so He's week to week. I wouldn't be shocked if we kind of got some announcements this weekend that he's back in basketball activities, trending towards a return early December.
Well, we can weather that right now, man. Like right now, heading into tonight's game, the Grizzlies currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players averaging at least 9 points or higher. That's depth. That's capital D depth, man. Like that's really solid. And that's getting like double-digit contributions from Santi, Scotty, Jalen, Jake. Like, that's like your bench unit is giving you double-digit points night in, night out. And that's one reason why we've been able to –
yeah.
I mean, our bench is second best in the league right now, scoring-wise, and just in terms of what they can do.
I mean, we had like almost 60 points off the bench the other night against the Pistons. Like we're doing really well, and that's a great case for our depth, and it's going to help us later in the season. And it's to the point, Luke, where there are literally debates on Twitter right now. You can look it up. Happened yesterday afternoon about questioning, was Jake LaRavia or Gigi Jackson going to get those minutes when Gigi comes back? And like, I'm sorry, like, don't be a prisoner of the moment. We have a superstar, budding superstar, Gigi Jackson Jr. I listen, I've come a long way on Jake. I can recognize the growth and that he's he's a good basketball player. But there ain't a spot on this earth where I'm having Jake LaRavia play minutes over Gigi if Gigi's fully healthy. There's no way. And so, like, no. you Jake lovers, Uncle Buck, my co-host on the 2 Buck Sports Show, drops today at 3:00. I'm looking at you. Enjoy your Jake LaRavia minutes while you can. Because when Gigi and Vince are back and fully healthy, they out of here.
I agree. Yeah, we might see Jake Doncic, which is really good. We might see Jake. Yeah. We might see Jake. I think that Jake is going to be, once everybody's healthy, the optimal in every possible way version of John Conchar.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting those late minutes and just coming in, and like Drew and I've compared him to Xavier Tillman. Like, you remember, like when you needed hustle plays. For me, also, I'm gonna date myself a little bit. JaMychal Green was the same way. You remember J-Mike would come off the bench and bring energy and go on a heater and like dunk on Tim Duncan and like out of nowhere just hit a corner three. And it's like that's the role that Jake is going to be. Like, he's going to be that energy guy off the bench. Listen, J-Mike's one of my favorite Grizz of all time. I'll always be a big J-Mike fan. But just that guy that comes in off the bench and brings some momentum change.
Do you remember the days? I remember back in the days when, for those of you new Grizzlies fans, and we were like, JaMychal, he could be the starter. He's the guy. He's the missing piece. Like,
and then he would start, and he had worse Butterfingers than Zach Edey when he started. Like, his role was that 6th, 7th man. If you started him, he was terrible. Then he would have like 2 points on like 8, like 2 of 19 shooting. They'd move him to the bench, and he'd go for 27 off the bench. And it's like, bro, like, you are a bench player.
He might have been the most frustrated. We're frustrated about these Jake minutes. Go back to those Michael Green minutes when we were trying to figure out what to do with that guy.
Listen, you new fans have it made. You didn't have to weather the Ed Davis minutes. And I love Ed Davis and J-Mike and Costa Kufos and all those old minutes back in the day, man. Whew.
Bino. I love Bino.
Look, you don't talk about Bino. Bino was the man. I love him. Come off the bench and go on a heater, man. Love me some Bano minutes.
God, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, go watch some aughts Grizzlies
what was
games.
That like?
They were great.
The 16-17 season when Bano got hot and was like our playoff starter. Like, it had him and Kalathis were kind of our backup point guards, and like Bano kind of took all of Kalathis' minutes.
Man, classic. Yeah, it's wild. So we're kind of talking about the vein of this player, like JaMychal Green, like Gigi Jackson, the person that is someone who can come off the bench and just not win games for you, but it's more than win games. It's like they can set a tone. They can corral everybody else in, like having a true blue 6th man is really important. And
it's key.
Wednesday night's game, Marcus Smart came off the bench, and we've been talking about, like, you've been on it a while. I know that a lot of people over at Bluff City, we've been on this a lot. Marcus Smart coming off the bench has been really, really good so far. And I think a lot of people were like, he's been in the league for a long time. He's a vet. Is he willing to take that quote unquote step back? And this immediately made me think of one of my favorite players of all time, Manu Ginobili. There was a time with the Spurs when Pop went to Manu, and he was like, look, man, your role on this team is going to change. It's going to have to, because we got Kawhi, like, because of these new guys that are coming up that we've drafted because of the direction the team is going, in order for us to have optimal success, you're going to have to transition to a new role.
Sure.
And the Spurs won 4 championships after he did that, something like that. And he was a perennial 6th man of the year candidate, receiving multiple votes, time in and time out.
He could have moved on to any other franchise and been a starter, period. And so it's a lot of teams go through that. Russell Westbrook went through that now in his career. Like James Harden did that early in his career. Like there are a lot of guys who accept that role of being the 6th man, and it extends their career by quite a bit. And it doesn't hurt when you get a performance like Marcus Smart had the other night. Shout out Creepy Cole on Twitter. He put out there that, and I'll clean it up a little bit for our family show here. But basically, he said that Marcus messed out all his bad habits and came back a better NBA player after this food poisoning, which made me laugh a lot harder than it should have. But he had them green shoes on, and that boy was hooping the other night against the Pistons, man, doing all the little things, that hustle, diving for that steal, and just, I mean, like I was standing up rooting for Marcus Smart the other night.
I think it was Verno on Twitter that was like, "This is the Marcus Smart that we've been waiting for 2 years," and like that's 100%, and that's the Marcus that we were waiting for to put in our starting lineup. If that's the Marcus that we're going to be getting off our bench, who can bring that vet leadership and who can, Marcus has been great about feeding. He knows when to feed people. Like he knows in terms of like feel for the game, like flow, the feel for the flow, like knowing, hey, I need to get Jaren involved. I need to get Edie involved when Edie was playing. It's Jake's turn. Like he understands.
Yeah.
And if he is just ready to win a championship, like, because I know a lot of people got him out of Boston because he thought that he was the guy that needed to take that last shot. Does not appear that that's what's going on right now. And I just, if he is willing to stay like that, then it's only a good thing for us, because you look at this, like he's a perfect 6th man, but we've got these development guys like Jake and Pippen that are going to make him a trade option. Like Wayno talking about here, like he's getting paid. He makes sense to move, like we've got a lot of guys that make Marcus expendable. And if he continues playing like this, it benefits us in every way, because it gets him a good highlight tape for being traded, and it helps our team. Yeah. And I just think that he is going to be the guy. Like, I don't know about this. I don't know if we're going to get Bane trade. If Smart is willing to morph into his Manu Ginobili Twilight, he's going to benefit us, and he's going to benefit somebody else if we trade him.
Yeah. So a couple things on that. Anthony saying, my boy, here at Bluff City Media, he was on this in the offseason, and everybody's clamoring. There's people on this show, not to be named, that were clamoring for Scottie Pippen Jr. to be signed early, giving you crap, Luke. So, but the same was on this early, saying, like, look, Marcus can be that backup point guard, and he has shown that coming off the bench. He can facilitate. He sees the floor really well, and he's just proven that over and over again. Pippen, yes, is our true backup point guard. I mean, he had that 30-piece against Chicago. Like he can do it. But you're absolutely right. Like Marcus playing well benefits us twofold. It's an opportunity for us to continue winning games and progress our season. And then 2, we can sell high, because he is now like showing teams, hey, I still got some in the tank, and a young development team. I don't know, like the Brooklyn Nets, just to name one off the top of my head, who may or may not have a player that I've been coveting since the offseason for this Grizzlies team, and one Cam Johnson might want that veteran leadership presence in their locker room. And I would send what I posted on Twitter yesterday afternoon. Like they said that the Cam Johnson price is going to be high. And I said, we send them Marcus, Luke, Jake, whatever kind of combination they want there. I would also throw Desmond Bane in there if I needed to, but that's another conversation. But throwing whatever you need to, and all the first-round picks that they want, literally all of them, because we hit in the second round anyway. So listen, give them all the first-round picks, Marcus and Luke and Jake, if that's what it takes to get Cam Johnson back, because Cam Johnson immediately elevates us to the next tier of competitors in the Western Conference. And if that's what this good play from Marcus brings us, then that's a win all the way around, because we're playing winning basketball and we can sell high on Marcus Smart. Man,
it's almost like I don't know what to do with myself as a Grizzlies fan, to be in a situation where not only do you have insane depth, like 12 guys that all can hoop, and then we're winning. Like that's what's great. Like,
and this is a good point. Like, yes, he's a former DPOY. We know you're absolutely right. Like, I like his season of him being healthy and his leadership, but Dez and Jaren both have said recently, like, hey, we're leaders on this team. It's time for us to step up. We've been around. Yes, they probably don't have the playoff experience that Marcus has. They don't have that depth, but they have years under their belt. They've grinded. They've played meaningful basketball. They just got to step up. It's time. Like, you don't have to have a veteran leader on this team. You just need players to step up. You know, Ja is still in his kind of kid age. He's still having fun, which is fine. But the way Jaren has matured in his offensive and defensive game, he's a tone setter, just like Marcus Smart. Those two guys are the tone setters for our team. Marcus from a hustle standpoint, Jaren on the offensive end. And there's a great debate on the 2 Buck Sports Show this afternoon on who Drew and I think is the best player on the Memphis Grizzlies. Drew kind of makes his case for Ja Morant, which I don't necessarily wholeheartedly disagree with. I make my case for Jaren Jackson Jr. Tune in today at 3 p.m. But like, we've got leaders on this team, and it's nut cutting time, like, pardon the expression, but it's time for them to step up and be leaders. We don't need to keep Marcus around just to be a leader if we can flip that into some shooting help. But Cam Johnson, you know, if other teams decide to blow up and move shooters, if we can move Marcus for that, it's time. Like, we don't need to keep him on a Vince Carter-esque type role because we now have leaders.
Yep. And Jaren, we can only go for so long before we're like, another year goes by. These guys are getting – Jaren becomes more and more of a vet every single year. He's a great ambassador for the game. And you know what? He also has a defensive player of the year. You know, like, I'm with you. I'm with you on Jaren. Like, I think
it's time. He's playing at an all-NBA level, Luke. He's playing 28 minutes a game, and he's still 6th in points per 36 minutes. Like, think about it. If he was literally playing 5 more minutes, I'm not asking him to play 40. If he's playing 33 minutes a night, we'd be having MVP conversations about Jaren Jackson Jr. That's the kind of year he's having.
Yeah. I mean, he's already second, or as of now, he's second in the defensive player of the year voting.
And because of him, we're the most efficient defensive team in the paint. We have the most blocked shots in the NBA. All of that because of Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Shout out in the comments. I'm seeing a lot of trade, Bane, all this stuff discourse. We're going to have to do a whole episode on the Bane option because it's
Listen, I know we're talking about Bane for a superstar. Superstar Cam Johnson is a superstar art. Like, I don't know if you watched much of him this year. The guy is he's consistently 6 of 8, 7 of 10, 8 of 11 from 3. He's huge. He can shoot. He can defend. And they're talking about DFS. Like, sure, give me DFS. That's fine. I would rather have – if I could get Cam Johnson and Dennis Schroeder from the Nets, then that is a successful trade for me.
Yep, those are 2 dogs, 2 hoopers that both those guys kind of fit what we do here. I agree. Next week we'll have a whole trade episode because we got to find stuff to talk about. But we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to look ahead to the weekend because it's Black Friday weekend and Christmas is officially starting. And we're going to talk about it right after this break.
I think Zach Edey played well. He got his fouls in. He got them in for sure. But we saw some flashes of really what he can do. Whether that's setting screens or just whether blocking shots or just making guys change their mind about shots or just affecting the quality of shots that guys were getting in the game. We saw that a lot. They gotta use him though, man. They gotta be able to find him a little better.
I was about to say they especially the whole first quarter. It was like because I think that lob that y'all had him, that was his first points of the game. So it was like the whole first quarter I did peep that. It was like I see everybody else attempting 5+ shots. Right. Y'all gotta find a way to give Zach Edey something like at some point. Everything was running well last night, right? The offense was flowing well. It's gonna come a stretch of time where they're gonna be stagnant. And at that time, that's when I expect them. Okay, hey, let's run a post play to Zach Edey.
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
This is a question I don't know if you've ever been asked. Was there anyone you ever wanted to dunk on? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm glad you're getting a big kick out of that one. I think you've been waiting all day for that. You get that little jokey joke in. Oh, you got a joke. But yeah, I always wanted to dunk in the game. That's what I wanted to do. And it didn't have to be on anybody. I wanted it to be off of a missed shot, like on an offensive rebound, so that everyone's around or in the vicinity when it happened.
Did you ever dunk in practice and get overly excited?
Yes. and everybody be like, well, are you going to do it in a game? I'm like, no.
Tune in to the Night Court podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the Daily Grind. You can catch all those shows. Let's see if I can do this by memory. You can catch the Night Court every Wednesday. You can catch Anthony Sane Show every Wednesday and Friday. You can catch No Bluffin' on Mondays typically. We got the Grizz 901 live post-game show live after every post-game. Sane and Chris do an after hours live after that. And then today, the $2 Sports Show, 3. Fridays at 3. And got a little preview of it. They're going to be talking about best player on the Grizzlies. I love that. It's great because I like when you guys discuss, and that's going to be good. Back to our show, though. On the weekend, well, on the weekends, on the almost weekends. It's Friday. And so on Fridays, we like to look ahead to the weekend. There's a lot going on this weekend. I saw someone ask in the comments, are you egg bowling it today?
I am not. I'll go ahead and go first. I'll talk about it first. So since you laid it up, no, I'm not egg bowling today. I am watching with my family later today. I've got we've had Thanksgiving. Maggie and I had our first little Thanksgiving Wednesday night, just the two of us. Her family yesterday, and then my family today is doing a good old fashioned fish cookout. We're gonna do all that's gonna be so good, man. Hang out for the holiday, and then Saturday, my brother's team. I'm gonna watch some hoops, some high school hoops. My brother's a high school basketball coach, and every year in Corinth, they have this big tournament. It's called the Lighthouse Tournament. It raises money for a local charity, and it's amazing. It's a great venue, but like stars come through there. ESPN has televised it before. We've had Devin Booker played there back in the day. Like there's been some dudes that have come through. So there's gonna be some legit teams. So my brother's team plays Saturday morning at 10. So I'm planning to be there for that. And then just a low-key weekend, the rest of that. And then Uncle Buck and I, another little spoiler alert, little, I guess not spoiler, but like foreshadowing. On Sunday, we're going to record a very special $2 short while watching the Grizzlies and the Pacers. So be on the lookout for that. There's some fun stuff coming out of that.
Okay. Oh, dude, heck yeah! I'm gonna be doing that because
if you're a fan of the old $2 Sports podcast, before we join this network, you'll appreciate the bit because this is a throwback to a Christmas episode from like 2 years ago. So it's gonna be fun.
Heck yeah. Dude, heck yeah. That's my weekend. I'm just gonna watch that because I've got a chill weekend, man. It was kind of I'm finally back with Kyla and her family. We're gonna be just relaxing. We're decorating their Christmas tree, gonna watch Christmas movies. I'm taking it easy this weekend. I'm gonna watch Christmas movies. I'm probably gonna buy way too much stuff on Amazon. Yeah, like since I got paid, it's like, oh, that's my Christmas stuff, and Christmas shopping stresses me out.
I'm actually done. The only thing I got left to buy my nephew's Grizz tickets every year for their Christmas, and so I'm waiting on. I get a code because I have a season pass. I get a code, and so I'm waiting on the game to drop, and I just gotta get my dad something. But other than that, I'm done, man. It feels really good to have all that behind me.
Think you're better than me? That's why it's fine. It's fine.
It's Maggie's fault. She is early, and so because she gets it done early, I kind of tagged along to that.
You know what? Shout out Maggie. I knew that behind every good Rusty, there's a good Maggie. I knew that was it. That's going to do it for our show today, y'all. Shout out Maggie. Tell her thank you for keeping you on track. And thank you for everybody in the comments, too. Everybody was going crazy out there. King Meeks, Art, I guess, Jedi, Mind Tricking, like everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us, DG. We're going to have a full trade. We might just do a trade a week next week because there's a lot of packages in here. I want to there's just a lot of stuff. And we are going to talk on Tuesday about Harry Potter. I cannot wait.
I did finish Harry Potter last night, so you have to tune in. I'm not going to tell it here. And you don't give the stuff away for free. Be here Tuesday.
We tube on Tuesday. You get yeah. Everybody have a good weekend. Have a good Black Friday. Be safe if you're going out there dealing with all the crazies. Just the dog is going to be safe. If I can leave you with anything today, remember these two things. Remember to be a little weird, just a little bit, and remember to smile. Bye, guys. Have a good day.